Hello everyone, what you see on the screen is a state-driven animation. For example, in the screen you can see there is an idle state, there is a loading state, there is a operation success state, and there is an error state. There are four states. I built this without any libraries, and there is a one reactor too. I built in. You will see that in the coding thing. Every app you see, you ever use runs on this exact pattern. Like you click a button, the UI enters the loading state. You enters the loading state, and the data arrives. It snaps to success. Something breaks, it shakes directly to the error. Back and then back to the idle state. That is not a magic thing. That is called a state machine. And most developers spend years writing very difficult and confusing if else chains before they discover there's a cleaner or more scalable way handling it. In this series, we built delta time functions, easing functions, lerp functions, and physics inertia function, parallax display, scroll animations, and even yesterday we built a sequencer. Every one of those move things visually, but this one is a different thing. This one manages the logic that decides what should move, when should move, and why it should move. This is an architectural layer, and once you see it, you will use it in every project you build. Uh, why it is very important to understand is uh, when you go to the React or any other frameworks, you won't be writing long codes like I write now. You will reuse just to simply use. For example, you will use state hook, a React hook, but we won't use that here. What we are going to do is what actually happens behind that use hook thing, usage of the use hook thing. So first we will define the four states. As you can see, we need to define the states now here, and then we will write and create a JavaScript array, each having its own class, name, and description. Secondly, we will write a single update UI function that reads the current state and applies everything at once. Thirdly, we will wire up the previous, next, and autoplay and the controls that step through the machines. When I click, see it is moving and loading. We were going to write this button functions, and for the autoplay, if I click autoplay, it will automatically start shifting to each process. So we are going to write that too. So that is what we are going to do today. Welcome to Scratch Start. Today we are going to build a state driven animation system. So now let's start with the coding. Before starting to the JavaScript, I have to show the initial state of the UI, what you will see on the screen. This is the UI without any JavaScript. I have created this using the HTML and CSS. Let's go to the JavaScript. See, I have created the variables using identifiers, and I have created the states. What are the states we are going to incorporate in the operation? We have idle state, loading state, success state, and the error state. These are the four states, and it will happen chronologically. Idle is the first state, loading, success, and the error. 0, 1, 2, 3. So there are four arrays, four array elements, and four operation. So we have for initial as the initial state, I have created variables. The current state autoplay is false, and the interval that means the interval between each state, changing between each state, is null. For the autoplay, it will happen only during the autoplay. So now I have to write the general UI to update general function to update the UI. So for that I have created an update UI function. Now we will write the contents inside that. I am selecting the reactor variable. I am giving it a class name, reactor, and concatenate with a new thing. Select the states array, and there will be in the initially and during each process there will be a different state. There are 4 array elements. There will be a current state. There must be a current state. So we will take the current state. We have already created the current state initially is 0. So we will take the current state and take the class name from that element, and then we have to change the states name and its text content. We have to change the text content, and that name will be taken from the states array. States arrays current state. We have to take the name from that array. Name. Next we have the state description. We have to change that text content to description states current state, and we have to take the description. So that's all. Now we have all the elements. Now to change the state indicators, I am going to write use the for each element and write the function. For the state indicators, for each it will execute the function with the parameter item. Inside that, select for each item we will have a class list active. We have to remove that class list active. Remove the class list active. Now there will be another current state, so we have to add that class list active. State indicator current state. State indicators current state, and it will have add the class list active. Class list active. So that's all. Now we will easily update the UI. Now there are some buttons in the browser. There is a previous button, next button, and autoplay and auto pause button. So now we will have to write that functionalities. For the next button, we have to change from initial state to next state. That means initially we have 0. For the next state is 1. That is initially we have the idle state. Then second state is 1. That is loading 0, and this is 1. So it means initial state current state plus 1. So we have to increment the current state with 1. Now I am using if logic. If current state is greater than or equal to states arrays length, then we have to make current state as 0, and then we can include the update UI. That means call the update UI function. So now the next function is okay. Now we have the previous method. It is exactly the opposite of the next state. So select the current state and decrement by 1, and then I am using the again if logic. If the current state is less than 0, we have to go to the last thing. That means 0, it is in idle state. If we go even before previous, there isn't any array element, so we will go straight to the error. That is what will happen here. We have to change the current state as state arrays length -1. Length -1. That's all. Now to update UI, we have to call the update UI function. Now we have the autoplay and autopause. So for that autoplay, this is for the autoplay, this section. For autoplay I am using the intervalid variable. I am using set interval method, writing a function set interval method. I am including the next state button, because autoplay means it will go from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then 3 to again 0. So it is just a next state button. Into the next state function, and then for the set interval method we have to give the interval value. I am giving 2000 milliseconds, that means 2 seconds. That's all. Now to stop the autoplay I am using the clear interval method, using the same intervalid, using the intervalid function. That's all. Here the intervalid is null. That's all. That means no function will happening there, it will just stop. That's all. Now we have all the buttons to control all these operations. There is previous button, next button, and autoplay button. So for the next button the event is click, and we have to include next function, that is next state. For the previous, the same operation is click, and we have to use the previous state function. And now there is an auto button, that means auto run and auto stop. Even for that the function is operation is click, but here we are going to write a function, because go to the browser. When we click autoplay, the states will change from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3, and during that running operation there will be a text change here, that is stop autoplay. It will change into start autoplay to stop autoplay button. When I click that, it will again change into start autoplay function. That is what we have to change here. In the function I am writing, initially I am assuming the autoplay is not autoplay. That is means it is a false thing. Autoplay, and using if logic with the autoplay as a condition. That means if the states are changing automatically, we have to change the auto buttons text content to stop auto. And then we have another situation, so else we have to change the auto buttons content, text content, to autoplay. Autoplay, that's all. And in all these things, here it is stop auto, so the function will be exact opposite. That means the states are changing continuously, so we have to use the start autoplay function here. Start autoplay function, and here we have to use the stop function method, stop autoplay function. And then initial for the automatic running of everything, I am using the update UI function. So that's all. So we have written all the logics, all the variables, all the button functions, and all the event listeners. Everything is written now. So now let's go to the browser and clicking reload, and there is an error here. I'm going to stop and check a little for a while. It is just a syntax error. I have fixed everything. So when I click next button, it will change from 0 to 1 and 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, and next means it should go from 3 to 0 again, idle, error to idle. So it become error to idle. Now when I click autoplay, idle, 2 seconds loading, 1 to success, 1 to error, and then 1 to idle. So with each 2-second interval, it is changing from one state to the other. I have stopped the autoplay. Now there is a loading. When I click the previous, it is idle. So the states are changing perfectly, and it is even the autoplay functions are working perfectly. So this is how you build a state driven animation systems. This can be used in many different ways, but I can only easily explain only when I work with the actual websites. So yeah, that is it for today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and I will meet you guys in the next session with another animation. Thank you.